Durham Cathedral is fortunate to have 3 issues of Magna Carta in its collections. We've got what we think is the only surviving issue in the world from 1216. That was issued on behalf of King Henry III by his Regency Council, led by William Marshal and Cardinal Guala-Bicchieri. We've got a 1225 issue. This was sent out under Henry's own Great Seal once he'd come of age. And that went on to become what we call the definitive Magna Carta. And we've got one from 1300, issued under the reign of King Edward I, and the last time that individual copies, engrossements, were sent out from Chancery with the King's seal attached. So in a way, we've got the full life story of Magna Carta, beginning, middle and end. After King John persuaded the Pope to annul the 1215 Magna Carta, the country was plunged into civil war. That came to a head in October 1216 when King John died. His 9-year-old son, Henry III, became king. He wasn't old enough to rule by himself, so he had a Regency Council, which was led by William Marshal and Cardinal Guala-Bicchieri. And one of the first things they did, within a month of Henry becoming king, was to reissue Magna Carta in November 1216. Henry wasn't old enough to have his own Great Seal, so it was issued under the seals of Marshal and Bicchieri. And this was done so quickly to try to secure the throne for Henry and to put an end to the civil war. And fortunately for Henry, it worked. The 1225 issue of Magna Carta is a very special one. It was issued by Henry III when he was 18 years old. He'd come of age. He wasn't quite old enough to rule a kingdom entirely by himself yet, but importantly, he had his own Great Seal, and that was the seal that was attached to the issues of the 1225 Magna Carta when they were sent around the country. It was important because Henry declared at the top of the document that it was issued of his own free will. It wasn't under threat of war or assassination or any duress. It was freely given. It was given to all the subjects of his realm, not just the barons and the knights. And it went on to become what we call the definitive Magna Carta, because after this point, the text didn't change. The terms within it remained the same. The name of the king might change, the names of the witnesses might change, but the text remained as it was. And it was that text that was entered onto the statute roll in 1297, becoming officially part of the law of the land. So it wasn't anymore a charter issued by an individual king that later kings and queens could ignore. It was set in stone. The 1300 Magna Carta, issued by Edward I, was the last time that official engrossements were made with the king's seal attached and sent around the country. By this point, Edward didn't really need to send it round because the terms of the clauses had been entered onto the statute roll. It was already part of the law of the land. But Edward issued it because he was trying to reassure his nobles, his barons, that even though he was raising money to wage another war, he wasn't going to go back to the bad old days of the tyrant kings. After this time, Magna Carta was reconfirmed, but it tended to be by acclamation in Parliament. So no longer were individual parchments written out, seals attached, and sent around the country.